Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. So in this video, I wanted to break down how we come up with 15 to 20 email ideas for our clients every single month. We pretty much use an AI, right? To be very frank, specifically ChatGPT. But the prompt we use is the thing that makes it happen. So I'm just gonna break down the prompt. Feel free to copy it. Hope you guys use it. I'll probably link in the description so you could use it. Anyway, let me break it down for you. Let me show you the thought process and what you need in order to make this prompt work. So you could get that email ideas for the month. So let me go ahead and read out the prompt for you, just so you understand what you're getting into. But yeah, basically you can read it yourself. What I'm asking is to give me 15 email ideas for the entire month. You can put September, October, November, doesn't matter. And it's basing the calendar off of two things. Number one, the brand itself, and I'll show you a prompt that we use to get the brand info that does really well. But just for context, the brand info and then the customer info. So what is the customer like? What are they most likely to respond to, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the structure in the way in which we want the monthly campaign calendar to be in. Pretty much the topic at the very top. So topic, choose from the categories below, and we have about 20 different topics that we choose from. Here are some of the content. So we pretty much have 500 emails that we've made and consolidated those 500 emails into 20 different topics. So here are the topics. And then we also just gave it more context to understand, how to assign the topic. So, we give it the purpose, what it covers, and then an example. But again, the very first thing at the top is the topic. Once that's done, one sentence description of what the email is about, so the idea, and then finally the email type. Now, the email type is one of four types of emails: a valid email, a VIP email, a sales-based email, and an SMS/WhatsApp message. You can read it yourself, but for the main thing you need to know, valid emails are about 80% of the content we send out. VIP emails only about 5%. Sales-based emails about 10 to 15%, and then SMS and WhatsApp reminders about once to twice a week. It depends on the brand. But that's pretty much it. So for all this, you don't have to do anything. The only thing you have to change is the month, and that's pretty much it. The next part you have to change is everything right here. So let me break that down. So as I mentioned, the prompt is going to base everything off of two things: the brand info, and the customer info. So you need to fill in those two things out. I'm going to give you a prompt. I'm going to show you a prompt that we use internally whenever we sign a new client, whether we're doing their flows or campaigns, that gives us literally everything we need to know about the brand. And let me go ahead and show it to you, just so you're aware. All right, so here's the prompt. Same thing, I'll probably link in the description so you could just copy and paste it. But we're basically asking it to do a very hard, deep search on ChatGPT for four main criterias. The first thing is the brand voice and tone. This helps us specifically with the copy. The second thing is where you at the company and product research, which is just giving us information about the products, what the brand is, their origins, all the nitty gritty. The third thing, the brand aesthetic. This is mainly for the designer, so when they're designing the emails, they know exactly what type of brand aesthetic they're going for. And then finally, the customer profile and psychology. So this is for this part specifically for building out the calendar. So once you again, I will just put this prompt into ChatGPT, specifically the deep search prompt, and then just put in your brand name, specifically your website, and then you should be good to go. Once it gives you all the information, get these two things: the second thing, which is the company and product research part, and then finally the fourth thing, the customer profile and psychology. So the second one, which is everything about the product research, you're gonna put it where you at on brand info into ChatGPT, and then the second thing, the customer info, is the very last criteria, which is the customer info, all that sort of stuff. Once you have those two things put into brand info and customer info, that's all you need to do as far as extra research for AI. I know it's a little complicated, but that's all you got to do. The very last thing we need input on, pretty much your input when you're putting in the prompt, is input from the founder and the brand strategist. So if you're a founder, you're watching this, or you're a brand owner, all you got to do is just give it ideas about what you want your brand to be represented as in the next month. Hey, it's going to be October. I want to make sure that we go very hard into Halloween, but we don't seem cartoonish because that's not really your brand, but we have nice little symbolic things in the emails, right? Or if you're a very cartoonish brand, say, hey man, we have like a whole universe of little mascots and cartoon characters. Let's make sure that they're apparent in the emails, moving forward. And then if your brand strategist is like, literally just say, hey, I spoke with the founder. They really want to make sure that they go into science-based emails this month, or fun facts emails, or and also based on our previous research and our data. Look at your data. I said this many times. See what emails perform good and bad based on our research and our data. We noticed in the past 3 months, us versus them emails have performed very well. So continue doing that. So just give it a little bit of brand, just input on your end. I personally love using this feature, which is just the voice recording. Just do that. That way you can just blurb out all your ideas. And that's it. Once you're done with that, it'll lead me to this part. Here's a real example of what we did. I did this for one of our clients. And I know it's a long prompt, but again, you don't have to type any of this out. It's pretty much just ready. Again, you just need to do the things I told you to do. And once you're done, it'll give you the ideas. So here's an example of what that looks like. October email ideas for, in this case, Melody, the top 15 ideas. And I'll quickly just read them out to you and explain kind of the structure so you understand. Again, the topic, is it an us versus them? Is it an about the founder? Is it an origin story? What is it? Second thing, one liner. What is the email about? What alcohol does to your skin and how botanicals reverse it? And then the tag, which what type of email it is, valuetainment, and then it gives a little end description of the email ID a little bit more in depth. But that's pretty much it. Now I have about 15 here. I personally like to go through this process about 3 to 4 times. Reason being is that it's very hard for it, even if you give it all the information about the brand, to get it like perfect in the very first try. And then also you get more ideas, even if they're really really good in the very first try. You probably have a few more ideas that I didn't mention the first time that you could get if you did 2 or 3 times the revisions. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Once I do this for about 2 to 3 times, I'll just say like give me 15 more, give me 10 more. This is what it'll ultimately look like. So here's the calendar once it's fully built out. As you can tell, in this case, we're sending one about every other day. And again, in this case, it's sent on September. So September and October months, we pretty much just send validating emails with SMSs for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But the point is, once you have them, this is what it looks like. So as I mentioned, the topic, a little line description of what it is, and then of course the email itself is yellow or red or blue depending on the topic. And that's pretty much it. One very last thing I'll mention is this little thing I didn't include in the prompt, but in the calendar, personally the way I like to do it as the strategist is just saying, is this going to be a text-based email or a graphic-based email? If it's a graphic email, I like to put this little art thing. If a text-based email, I like to put a little book symbol which looks like this. And that's pretty much it.